Hi English 101 students, it's Miss Alsamani again, and I want us to talk about the research paper. That is our next major essay that we're going to work on for this semester. And so, research papers, I think most of you have, I'm sure, heard of research papers, but essentially the gist of it is you're finding outside information to prove your point. So that could be information from books, articles, documentaries, essentially any outside source. So, a research paper requires outside sources of information, so that could be books, articles, videos, interviews, to fully argue a stance on a particular topic. Every source that is utilized must have both an in-text citation attached to the sentence that has the source's information, so that could be a quote or paraphrasing from the source. So an example would be Bowden 45, so it'd be the author's last name is Bowden, and page 45 is where you found the information. So I want to point out now in the textbook where you can find an example for that. So it's on page 123, has really good examples for in-text citations. So essentially, as you're doing your research, make sure you make note of where you found the information, who the author is, what page number you found it on, that sort of thing, because that way you can do the in-text citations as you're writing. So that's just more helpful versus having to go back and try to figure out where you found the information from. So I would definitely recommend checking out page 123 in the textbook for in-text citations. So every sentence that has information from an outside source has to have an in-text citation. Also notice you'll have to have a works cited page. So the works cited page, for those of you that might not have done research papers in the past, it's essentially a list of all the outside sources you used. And in the textbook, the best example for a works cited page is on page 168 of the textbook. Notice it's on its own page, so say if your research paper is 3 pages, it would start on the top of page 4. But notice it's got a works cited title. Notice it's a list of outside sources of information, and it's in alphabetical order. Also notice double spaced with hanging indents, so the second and third lines are indented for each citation. Depending on what kind of outside source you find is going to determine what is in your citation. So say if you use an online source, I'd say that's pretty common for this type of paper. That's going to be on page 151. It's a work on a website. So you would list the information that's right here and put it on your works cited page. However, if you want to use a physical regular book, if you want to go old school, then the best citation example is on, let's see, might be a little further in. It would be on page 134. So if there's one author for the book, it would be number 1, 2 authors, so on and so forth. If there is an outside source you want to use for this research paper and you can't find in the textbook how to cite it, I will be happy to help you cite your sources. So feel free to send me internet links or a description of what kind of source you're using, and I can help you create those citations. So no worries on those. I mean, honestly, I'll guide you through this whole process. So notice the research paper must include at least 2 outside sources. I'm not a real stickler about what types of sources, so say if you find a really cool documentary on Netflix, you can cite that. If you find a really cool article online and it's from a legitimate source, no Wikipedia please. I don't like Wikipedia articles, but if you find a good article, you can include that. If it's a topic you know someone that's an expert on it, you can even do an interview, like interview someone you know that is an expert on the topic, and I can show you how to cite that as well. So I'm honestly pretty open about like outside source types. So just if you're not sure though, just run it by me first, and that way I can help you cite it or approve it or let you know if it's not a legitimate source. So the rough draft due dates are due June 28th, that's a Sunday, at midnight in the discussion board, and we'll do peer reviews for that just like we did for the descriptive narrative essay. Also notice the final draft due date is Thursday, July 2nd, so just before our July 4th little holiday, and that's going to be by midnight in the Content Week 6 folder. That's where you'll turn in your final draft. Also notice it's 100 points possible, and it's 30% of the final grade, so pretty good chunk of the final grade. Research papers should be at least 800 words in length, so it is longer than your descriptive narrative, but remember you can include 2 or more outside sources, so that will definitely help you as well. Works cited pages do count towards the word count as well. Some instructors don't count works cited pages, but I do on the word count. For formatting, it's no surprise. It's 12-point Times New Roman, double space with MLA heading and style. So I want to remind you guys, again in the textbook, it's page 161 has the best example for MLA heading. So just remember it's your name, my name, the course, and the date. Also notice you'll want to put your last name and page number at the top, center your title, all that good stuff. So no surprises there. It's the same as the descriptive narrative. The research paper is open topic. So what I mean by open topic is you can choose a topic that you're interested in. So I don't want you to just choose something that's dry or that you've written about in the past that you just like did it for an assignment. I want you to choose a topic you genuinely want to know more information about. So that could be a current event, that could be an era in history that you're really interested in, or it could be a person you want to know more about. So really I want you guys to make this essay your own. Essentially you get to choose the topic. However, you will need to propose your topic so that I can approve it. So the topic must be proposed in discussions by midnight on Thursday, June 18th. So that is this Thursday. So I really need you to spend the next day or two really contemplating what topic you want to write about. If you're not sure where to get started or how to pick a topic, you can always email me as well, and we can have a little discussion about what you're interested in, or maybe what subjects in school really inspire you, what current events you're intrigued by. So essentially we can have a discussion so that I can help you choose the best topic for you. But the more interested you are in writing this research paper, the more interesting the paper will be to read. And so I do want to really try to inspire you to choose the right topic for you, whatever you're most interested in. Notice there still is a final draft late submission rule, just like before. And also all of the research papers are going to be graded with the grading rubric, and they'll be scanned with anti-plagiarism software. Especially with an assignment like this that does encourage you to use outside sources, make sure you do cite your sources, list the ones that you've used online, do those intake citations at the end of the sentences where you've quoted or used information you didn't know before, because that way you can avoid plagiarism. So it's very important. And obviously I've got a little section there if you want to brainstorm or outline any ideas. So I want to definitely encourage you to ask me any questions you have through this research process. I'm always here for you. If you need to email me or call my office phone or anything, we can have a discussion about this research paper. So I'm here to guide you through this process. So no worries, you'll be just fine. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks. Bye.